Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd, and this is our Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 4 spoiler review. I love the Jurassic World universe. I love the Jurassic Park universe, but I mean, Jurassic World universe has really shown us an expanded view of this world and the novel. So I've been very invested in this cartoon on Netflix, especially since it ties in with the movies. So the first season of this cartoon actually takes place during Jurassic World. So these kids basically win a contest and are able to go to Island Nublar, and everything kind of goes crazy like it is in the movie. And they are caught in the middle in this kind of like situation where everyone's evacuated except for them, and they have to learn to survive as well as deal with all this stuff that's going on with Mantah Corp, which is a kind of a company that competes with InGen, and I guess it would be Masrani Global Corp because they bought InGen, in which we all learned in the Jurassic World movie. So they're dealing with all of the shadiness that is Mantah Corp, as well as trying to survive all of the hybrids and dinosaurs that are running around the island. And even when they get off the island, it just seems like it's one thing after another. Like at this point, season 4, we are 6 months in to this cartoon. And they have made a little progress. They've finally gotten off of Island Nublar. If you saw season 3, you know that they were able to acquire Tiff and I forgot the guy's name. It's Tiff and it'll come to me. Two of the poachers that were there that were trying to basically, they were hunting down or head hunting down dinosaurs. They were able to steal their yacht, but of course, something happens and they are ended up getting stranded on a brand new island. They have no idea where they are. And it just kind of takes up from that point. So we're going to just kind of go over it a little bit because there was a lot of things that happened in this season that we need to talk about, both in the plot and also in character development. Because when we first started out with this series, we had a bunch of kids that had no idea, about each other at all. And now they're pretty much a family. They've gone through losses where they thought that the character of Ben had been killed for a while, not realizing he just got separated. And him and a dinosaur named Bumpy kind of bonded and he basically became Tarzan. At the same time, you had the rest of the kids that were running around trying to figure out how to survive on this island, as well as dealing with all of the dangers that are on this island and dealing with each other's secrets. Because everybody seems to have, except for Darius, technically, I feel like everybody kind of had a secret. One of the biggest ones is the character Sammy, whose family owns a ranch, and she was blackmailed by Mantah Corp to spy, because they would send spies to try and get InGen tech to, basically the island to try and get some of their latest designs and whatever they're working on, basically still insider information. And so it became a big fallout with the rest of the group, and it's been a lot. So season 4, we are on a brand new island. We get introduced to these robots of all things called Brads. They're like there's Brads and Brad X units. So there's two different types of like dinosaur, like not dinosaurs, but like kind of robots that are pretty much designed by a guy named Cash. And Cash is the same person who blackmailed Sammy's family. So we already have Sammy going through something. What I liked about this season is we got to be introduced to new characters, and we also got to deal with kind of the fallout of being in this situation for over 6 months. Yaz, one of the characters in the group, she's athletic, she's strong, she's brave. We actually saw her break down a lot in season 4. She had extreme PTSD. She was having nightmares, sometimes walking nightmares. I mean, it was absolutely insane. I liked how they handled it. And I like that, I hate to say it as a minority or a POC person, we don't like to admit that we need help because we feel like we need to stay strong all the time. And that is what Yaz was going through in her group. She was so hesitant to talk to the rest of the group about her PTSD that she tried to pretend nothing was wrong, even when she was shaking and not able to carry out some of the missions that they had. So I did like that they incorporated that, and they didn't just do it as a quick fix, because even now she's not over it. She's had to push through, but she's not over the PTSD. And to have Yaz be the character that got PTSD, I thought was pretty interesting. Now the whole thing with Kenji and Darius. So the way it ended last season is Brooklyn got kidnapped, and so she basically told Darius, do what you got to do to save these dinosaurs, and even at the expense of me. And at this point, it kind of hinted towards Shinji liking Brooklyn, but not in like the way it is in this season. He got really upset. He almost blew the mission trying to save Brooklyn. He basically got very hostile with Darius, and that carried into the first part. Thankfully, first part, not the whole season, but first part of this season, where he's still not really talking to Darius. He's treating Darius kind of like crap. And to play devil's advocate, I guess Kenji's just kind of, he sees things as, hey, we are a group and we don't leave a member behind, but he also sees it as, this is the girl I like, and you're willing to sacrifice her over your damn plan. So he was kind of in his feelings. And Darius doesn't get it because, of course, Kenji doesn't want to tell people that he has feelings for Brooklyn. So it became like this whole little, I'm mad at you for putting the girl I like in danger scenario. But again, this only I think it was only like 6 or 7 minutes into season 4. But basically what ends up happening is, there is a dinosaur in the water, because why not? Why not? And it ends up putting Darius's life at risk because their boat that they stole are acquired, basically. It got caught on some kelp. So Darius volunteered to go in the water, even though there's, sharks in the water. And we do see that there is a shark coming that gets eaten by said dinosaur. I love that Kenji, without hesitation, even though he was upset with Darius, leaped into the water, helped him get free, and helped him get back to the boat. And I feel like Kenji's story development between season 1 and season 4 has been the most developed story, and that he has shown the most growth of any character in this show. And I love it. I absolutely love it, because this is not a bad kid. He is a kid that comes from a very rich family. I don't think his mother's alive anymore, and his father basically neglects the hell out of him, to the point where his dad has all of this money, but they've been trapped on this island for most of the 6 months, and why hasn't anyone come to look for him? It's like his dad just accepts that he's dead, which brings me to a point that I'll make later on about his father. But I feel like Kenji really came into his own a lot this season, not just because he liked Brooklyn. He just started doing things that were, even extra, brave. Like when Ben gets attacked or basically Ben becomes a decoy to get a Saber-Tooth Tiger away from the rest of the group when they first get there. He leaps onto the Saber-Tooth Tiger without any plan, because the Saber-Tooth Tiger was about to attack Ben. And I just thought that was amazing. And this is something that became a pattern through the entire series. Or season, should I say. So yeah, Kenji's definitely leveled up in this, which is so weird. He leveled up, and I don't want to say Yaz leveled down, but her PTSD has made it very hard for her to be the badass person completely that she used to be. So it's a thing. I love that Brooklyn. Okay, so let me start with this. I really, as a queer person, I try not to be a person that in every series looks for relationships, looks for, like, not everybody has to be, gay in every situation. I know this, even though I'm telling you in real life, you'd be hard pressed not to find a certain group of people that are going to identify as LGBTQ plus. It doesn't take away from my enjoyment if there's not LGBTQ representation. Brooklyn saying that she has 2 dads, that's LGBTQ plus representation. But I guess my problem is, if you follow Jurassic World, there is a character that was in the last movie, and her name went out of my head, but she actually in an interview said her character identified as lesbian, but they cut that out. And the reason I'm bringing that up is, I see this a lot, like even in Raya and the Last Dragon. Like Raya is totally like, there's no way that that is not an LGBTQ queer baiting thing. My queer bait in this series is very interesting, because I feel like Yaz and Sammy are the new, if you watch Supergirl and you understand the term Supercorp, they are the new Supercorp. Because yes, we have Kenji and Brooklyn who now have decided they like each other and they're now in a relationship. But, look at some of the things that Yaz has said and Sammy and like the situations that they've been in. Like they literally have had the most relationship development since season 1 of any of the character pairings that potentially could happen in this show. Like we had Sammy, who basically got Yaz to come out of her shell and be more with the group. Because even Yaz said it in this season. She said, and quote, I'm pretty sure the only reason I even have feeling, Sammy, is because of you. And, when she found out that Sammy was like basically a spy for Mantah Corp, and she got really, really upset, but she still kept saving her. And then eventually they came back together, and then Sammy got, infected and sick. And she was the one that volunteered to go, fight, face all these dinosaurs to get the cure for her. I mean, it's just, there's so many moments that's just like, come on, even how they talk to each other is just so, they should be in a relationship. I would buy Yaz and Sammy in a relationship quicker than Kenji and Brooklyn, and they are not doing it. And so for me, I can't not feel like that's queer bait. I can't help it. It's just how I feel about it. I love this show, but I mean, I may be in the minority on this, but Yaz and Sammy are being written and shown as more than friends. And for people that see this review, are people that like to go into the review sections and say things along the lines of, they can be best friends and blah, 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 blah. You're talking to a queer person, okay? You don't have to define the relationship between two women to me because I understand it better than most people. But at the same time, there are things that you experience in an LGBTQ plus relationship that a heterosexual person will never understand. And there have been things that happen between these two characters that I will swear up and down that they were actually putting these two together as a romantic couple. This is how I see it. And I'm sorry, it's just what it is. So I guess that's probably one of my main disappointments, is that if any characters were revealed to be into each other, it would be them. Even last season, when Brooklyn thought Sammy had a crush on someone, she started going down and she's like, is it Darius? Oh, wait, is it Yaz? I mean, they even put it in, it's just like, I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy. I feel like Yaz definitely is into Sammy. Sammy is one of those people that's just very sweet and giving and all that, but she's definitely more closer to Yaz. But I know Yaz 100% I think is into Sammy. No doubt. And I'm here for it. And they just need to get with the times and just make it happen. It doesn't matter, the romances of any of these kids doesn't matter in the overall plot of the show. But I just had to put that out there because that's something that I noticed. All right. I did like the fact that we had a Saber-Tooth Tiger for one. I do think the scene with him was really quick, though. Like, you saw him, he chased them. And then it implied that he basically ran off, but it basically implied that he was just there for the two, kind of moments where we see something new, basically. I think it was the Spinoceratops. Really, really like the Spinoceratops. I thought that was really cool. I really love the Kentrosaurus only because I thought Pierce was adorable, and it was breaking my heart because there's a scene where Cash is basically, I guess Mantah Corp wants to make like a dog fighting situation with dinosaurs. So basically having the dinosaurs fight each other so rich people can bet on them, which is effing gross. It's disgusting. And they will do anything to make a buck. And they had Pierce pitted against a T-Rex. And I'm like, this is effing crazy. And to top it all off, they were drugging them to make them more aggressive. And they were using these drones that were forcing them closer together so that they would be more aggressive towards each other. And I mean, it was very disgusting. And I was not happy with the whole, animal fighting, pretty much dino fighting situation that Mantah Corp was doing. It ticked me off a lot, actually. Now there were things that I will say, because I like to nitpick. There are things in this season that bothered me a little bit, and it was just basically stuff that I felt the characters could have done that would not have prolonged, their issues. Like, for instance, when Ben was running from Cash and they were trying to draw Cash into May, who's a new character, we'll talk about her in a minute, into her living quarters so they could, put him in there and lock the door. They left the tablet in there with him that had literally the sounds. They were drawing him in with sounds, like dinosaur sounds, because he was chasing these baby dinosaurs. And I'll also get to that in a second. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you lead the tablet? I know you're trying to lead him in there so he thinks that there's a baby dinosaur in there, blah, blah, blah. But once he's in there, turn the tablet off. He starts looking around. I know Ben was hiding under the table or whatever, but he could have set that up a little better. Take the tablet, go out, and then break the damn door. I do not understand why they left the tablet in there with him. And then secondly, the phone. They wanted to get the phone so they could try and call for help. There are plenty of chances when they could have grabbed the phone because Cass has anger management. So he throws his stuff all over the place. I don't really understand. Like, I know Darius got caught using the phone. He was calling and he actually got through to his brother for like maybe 2 seconds. It was enough for his brother at the end of the season to say, hey, I'm going to find you, little brother. So he's off to go find his brother. So at least he knows or assumes his brother is alive. That's great. But I don't understand why these kids that have taken on dinosaurs and other soldiers and people and have been able to outsmart everyone did not just find a way to knock Cash out and take his damn phone. Like, even when you're locking him in the room, take his damn phone. Why didn't you get his phone? Like, it drove me insane. I'm like, oh my God, why? Like, why? You come up with these great, elaborate plans, but you didn't think to get the damn phone, call for help. But to play devil's advocate, then we wouldn't have the season, our season 5, would we? If they just got rescued right now. But it's still, I'm like, it's almost like you guys aren't trying. You're just not trying. Just a thing. Another disgusting plan that was happening is they are trying very hard to control these dinosaurs with chips. Because there's a technology that is done by, of course, another character, her Dr. May. She's introduced in this. She's basically a doctor who is she's a dinosaur lover. She writes a lot of books about, dinosaur behavior. She's actually, Darius knows about her, read her book, and is very fanboying over her when he meets her. But she's a very cool, level-headed, sweet character who they do not trust initially. And I was so happy because what happened with Tiff and the rest, last season, they have learned you can't just trust people because you don't know their real motive. So I did love that. But there's a technology she's coming up with on the tablet where she's able to communicate a little bit with some of the dinosaurs. It's her side project. She had not told Mantah Corp about it. Well, Cass figures it out. And so he has these little chips. He wants to be able to use her technology and use these chips by injecting them into their brains. Well, he tries to do it with, Pierce, and Pierce is able to, Pierce and a few of the others are able to fight off, I guess, the effects. So he figures, hey, I'm going to put them in baby dinosaurs' brains because surely, surely I can control them or the little heads will blow up. And I'm like, that is absolutely disgusting. Horrible. I'm like, no, horrible. So yeah, I was not happy with what was happening with that, especially since there's a little Brontosaurus, a hybrid that technically they're trying not to bond with because they don't want to leave dinosaurs behind. Ben especially. Ben he misses Bumpy so much. And there's a tiny little scene in this season where you see Bumpy going to their own campsite where they first started in season 1 and kind of laying down and being depressed because he misses Ben. And which is so sad because he was reunited with his own family and his own kind basically. But they desperately miss each other and it's so sad. But Ben has kind of adopted Firecracker is what he named him, and they take Firecracker and they inject the chip into his little brain, and it's so sad. But May's able to take it out, so I was happy about that. But I was so flipping angry that they got a baby dinosaur and just shot that chip in the brain. And it's got me really worried about the Jurassic Park Dominion movie because these are all interconnected. So I feel like whatever they learn in this may be carried on into the movie when it comes out. And I don't know how I feel about seeing dinosaurs being forced to fight each other because I can't handle it with dogs or other animals. So I'm a little worried about that. But yeah, they were able to get the chip out. So Dr. May was able to get the chip out. That is great. The downside to this season is the fact that every time they attempted to escape or whatever, everything got thwarted by Cash. They even tried to get on or basically sneak on to a supply plane. but they missed it because they had to save the dinosaurs. And it's like, it's just in this case, it was Pierce. They were out in the Arctic and they had to basically use both of the snow plow, machines to carry this dinosaur back to its natural habitat. And they were trying to figure out how Pierce got there in the first place. But again, all of this stuff is Cash's doing. Cash is just an evil little troll. He's just evil. And I really hope we don't have a live action version of Cash in Dominion, because I just don't really want to deal with that. But he's evil. All right. So one of the biggest reveals, because every season we have to end on a cliffhanger. The kids are basically trying to stop Cash. They're trying to save the baby dinosaurs. They're trying to accomplish all this stuff to stop the evil Mantah Corp. And what ends up happening is they're kind of surrounded. And one of the people that basically Cash's direct boss that shows up happens to be Kenji's father. And he sees Kenji and he looks shocked. And Kenji's like, Dad? And then it kind of goes off. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, here we go. And I'm really worried. I don't want Yaz and Sammy and Brooklyn and Darius and Ben to be very distrusting of Kenji after this. I don't think that will happen, because they pretty much bonded by now, but that is his father, and they may feel like his loyalties would be split between them now and his dad, because his dad is doing this. And we might have a season 5 arc where he just justifies why he's doing all these things, and maybe come up with a great excuse why he didn't look for his son to make sure he was dead. I know. I don't know. But the fact that his dad is the big boss of Mantah Corp, yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. But I said this last time when I was talking about a season 3 review. I said I always thought it was interesting that we had season 1 and season 2 of the kids struggling, roughing it, not having enough food, trying to figure out how to survive. And then Kenji's like, oh, by the way, on the other side of the island, my dad has a penthouse. And it's just like, so this is information that would have been great to know in season 1. But I don't know. I feel like we're definitely evolving more towards another Kenji arc where he's going to have to make a choice between his dad and his new family. And yeah, I mean, I'm loving it. I'm here for it, but it's a thing. I mean, again, I know a lot of the people are going to say, well, remember Kenji's dad just really believed he was one of the ones that just didn't make it. I'm like, but if that was my child, and you guys know I love my kid, I'm going to send, I'm a billionaire. I'm going to send all of the people to the island to scour it and make sure that my child is actually gone. I'm not just going to take it as, oh, the news said they're all dead. Well, I guess my daughter's gone. I'm not doing that. So I don't understand why he didn't go the extra mile. And then think about it this way. He thinks his son is dead, was killed by dinosaurs, blah, blah, blah. But yet you're still working in an area that deals with bioengineering dinosaurs. And you are still moving forward with your plans, which tells me you don't give a crap about your kid. I'm like, yeah, I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out in season 5, because everything about this is just messed up, absolutely messed up. And like I said, I know that we're going to probably have Sorna in the new movie. There's just a lot. There was a lot that's going on, and a lot of things that I am very curious about. Like, I don't know if Dr. May Turner is going to be a live action character. I have not been following the casting on the new movie. COVID has me all over the place. I have not been following any of the movies that I'm into. So I need to see if there is a casting for a live action version of Dr. May Turner. I would love to see Easter eggs of this show in the movie, since they are connected. There are lots of things that I would like in Dominion. Now, whether we get them or not, I don't know. I think the Dilophosaurus, I think, are in there. I think there's, I don't know. I feel like we're going to have dinosaurs fighting each other. I feel like every cool dinosaur that they're developing now, I feel all of them are going to be fighting each other. This might be that might be the whole, like, plot of this movie is how to free these poor animals that are forced to basically kill each other. I do not want that. This is making me have issues. Like, seriously, I'm going to have Yaz's PTSD if this is what this new movie is going to be about. And again, like I said, I love the fact that we're seeing all this groundbreaking technology in this show. I love the fact that, now the Brad X's are, they're pretty cool. It is really repetitive that the kids are having to fight somebody new or some crazy adult over and over and over and over and over again. I guess I would have liked to have seen the kids actually go to an island with May and actually have to deal with something that was not Mantah Corp or, a conspiracy. But if we did, then I guess we wouldn't have access to Kenji's dad. And so this is the direct access to, the father showing up. And that's going to make season 5 very interesting. I love that Brooklyn is able to reprogram, a robot. She couldn't do the more advanced one, but she was able to do the first Brad models. And I thought that was cool that she was using that to tap into the one that paranoid Cass had assigned to watch Darius, because in the season, Darius was the inside guy. He pretended to be stranded there, like his ship wrecked, which is not untrue, but he pretended to be alone, and that he said him and his dad were actually on Island Nubular, and that his dad didn't make it, and that, he just wants to go home. And so Cass is forced to take him in, and, and he does things to prove his loyalty to Cass. And Cass is such a self-absorbed narcissist that, he doesn't catch when Darius is out of character, I guess, because Darius says, I hate dinosaurs. They pretty much made my life hell. They took my dad from me, blah, 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 or along those lines. And then later when he's like injecting the babies with that, and, the dinosaurs get hurt, Darius can't hold back his emotions because he loves dinosaurs. And Cash doesn't see it. And I thought that was really interesting. But again, Cash is that character. He's so self-focused, and he's so he is power hungry, he wants to be on top. And so it's very interesting that he was just, I feel like his own narcissism got him to where he was almost defeated a few times by these kids, and he didn't learn anything. So that is going to be interesting. But like I said, I don't know, there is a lot. And they reference a lot of things in the show too, like a lot of different, they have Isla Sorna in general, how they were basically taking all the dinosaurs or dinosaur DNA from Nubular and Sorna, and yet a whole world map of different areas where they were taking in dinosaur DNA to make hybrids, which is interesting. So I don't know. Like I said, everything is connected. This is even connected to the original Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World just is pretty much an extension, or I guess I could say next gen of Jurassic Park. So I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious to see, where this goes. And also what's going on with our main characters at this point, because we're in season 4, and I think season 3, I believe, was when Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I'm pretty sure that's when those timelines kind of meet up. So season 4 has to be right before Dominion, but it's 6 months. I don't know. I'm trying to do the timeline here. That's the thing. You want to make sure the timeline's in place to see, try and give yourself spoilers on what's going to happen in season 5. Because I don't know how far. I'm assuming we're not going to be far from season 4, because we're right in that spot where Kenji's seeing his dad and his dad's seeing him. I don't think they're going to time skip a year or 6 months or 3 months. Something I will say I wish they made a little bit more believable is Yaz has literally a bionic woman / bionic man leg, because she injures her leg, twists her ankle all the time. And 6 months is not a lot of time to recover from these injuries that she's getting. But she seems to be perfectly okay in season 4 in terms physically anyway. So I wish that they had played out her leg not being as powerful or strong as it used to be, or something along that level. Like I said, I'm cool with the PTSD. I just wish that the physicality of her being an athlete and injury like that, maybe they should have been a little bit more struggle in that regard. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're all really good at dealing with the psychology of these kids, because none of them are doing very well. All of them have revealed to be having nightmares and things like that. So, except for Darius. Darius doesn't seem to be having any for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. But, it is what it is. But yeah, season 4 overall, I really, really enjoyed it. The whole dynamic, the cute little dynamic between Kenji and Brooklyn, the will they or will they not, was very cute. The fact that Brooklyn was like, it's Kenji, and she was like wrestling with the idea of the Kenji that she first met and the one that she knows now that's grown and evolved. They're two different people, but he has the same heart. And so she was kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. And I love that she was going to Yaz and I'm like, why are you asking Yaz for relationship advice? She just started being a friend, how would she know? But I love that she was, kind of conflicted over that. And then in the end, she just threw caution to the wind and said, I like you too, basically. And now they're just a thing. And I love that Darius was into it. At first he was like, I don't want anything to change. And the Kenji was like, oh, I can't tell you that me and Brooklyn are together. And then he finally does it. He's like, don't tell Brooklyn that I did this. And he was forced to tell him. And I love how Darius was like their main supporter, which I thought was cool. So yeah, all of that for me is really cool. The pairing is cute. I just wish that they would address the fact that they have made Sammy and Yaz more of a romantic link than a BFF link. And that's how I feel. I feel like Sammy's really good friends with Brooklyn, but her and Yaz are a completely different relationship. And it's very obvious and it's driving me crazy. I'm like, you guys know you're doing this. There's no way you don't know you're doing this. Please don't be like the Super Corp, Supergirl writers and just try and get people that are queer to watch your show by, having them see it, but not really giving it to us. So that will probably tick me off. But I just feel like Sammy and Yaz, I see your comment, I absolutely agree with this. Sammy and Yaz have had more development than Brooklyn and Kenji ever did. And they're still not doing anything with that. And it's very irritating. And again, I always run the risk of saying things like that when people are like, especially with something like Jurassic Park, which has a massive following. They were like, oh my God, you got to make everything gay. And it's like, no, it's not. I don't want to make everything gay because not everything is. But I want to point out that if you see writing that is basically geared towards your personal community, there's no way not to see it. So, I mean, heteronormativity is a thing. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean we don't see it. It's a thing. So I'm really hoping that they stop that. Like, now I know that some people thought that Kenji was going to end up with Ben. I never saw them that way. I actually saw Kenji as the older brother to Ben, because if you look at the dynamic between Kenji and Darius, Kenji respects Darius as a leader because he's always putting himself out there and always coming up with ideas. Ben, he sees as when he first got there, Ben was scared of his own shadow, and then he morphed into Tarzan. And Kenji never wrapped his mind around his new persona. So he's always looking out for Ben, just like he's always looking out for the others. But the one person he doesn't do that with is Darius. And I think that's why a lot of people are seeing this bromance between him and Ben, because he's always, it's always a thing where like he's usually the one that like talks to Ben, and always the one that like, he saves him a few times. But I mean, quite frankly, if anybody's going to have a bromance, it would be Darius and Ben because they seem to be closer to me than Kenji and Ben. But a lot of people see this Kenji and Ben thing. So I'm like, I don't see it. I'm sorry. But I can't not see it with Yaz and Sammy. There's no way. Even sleeping in the same damn bed. Come on, guys. I can't. Like, I cannot. I can't unsee it. But again, Jurassic World Dominion is going to be awesome. I know it is. I'm very, very, very nervous. I'm very nervous about the plot of this movie because I don't want it to be a bunch of dinosaurs that are fighting and tearing each other apart, because that is heartbreaking to watch. I can't watch that. Even if it has an ending that's amazing, I don't know if I could actually watch that. I don't know. There have been some rumors that we're going to see Dave and Roxy coming in season 5. I saw that on one of the boards. That would be interesting. I would love to see what they've been up to since season 1. But it's a thing. Trying to see, I have a bunch of notes that I took, so I'm making sure that I've gone over everything, because sometimes I don't. But let's see. Pretty sure I've got most of it. I mean, the Scorpius Rex whole run is on Isla Norma, and seeing like the new baddie in this is I think more of a Dominion conversation. I think all of the the Dilophosaurus is pretty cool, but I think all of that is going to be played out more in Dominion. So I don't really know. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because I feel like the biggest antagonist in this season was actually Cash and his freaking Brad and Brad X's. And I don't even know why not call them Cashes and Cash X instead of Brad and Brad X. There's probably something that I'm not realizing from Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. But again, guys, I'm gonna be 45 on Wednesday. I'm old. My brain ain't working, so just go with it. I mean, I literally saw the first movie in the theaters like when I was a kid. So just putting it out there. But I kind of felt like that was the main, like, honestly, the big beef of their story was getting away from Cash, dealing with Cash, trying to figure out how to get Darius away from Cash, trying to save the baby dinosaurs, trying to stop these, and cruel fighting, freaking fighting dinosaur fights, should I say, and prevent it from becoming where the investors are going to start, putting money into making this a real thing where people all over the world that have money can just watch these dinosaurs tear each other apart. That seems to be the big beef, not a Scorpius Rex, not not the latest baddie hybrid that we have. I mean, we got a little snippet of it, but I mean, it wasn't enough for me to actually say, okay, this is what's going on. That was not what happened in this. It's not. I would love to know what's going on with Engine. Like, what are they working on now? Because I mean, we can't just rule out the fact that there is something going on with them as well. Mantah Corp seems to be the worst of the two because, again, they are fierce rivals. They're very big rivals. And Mantah Corp is the one I think that's causing all of the crap, especially in terms of this series, to go down in a very bad way. And I am really interested. I really want to know, when we get this new movie, are we going to have references to the kids on the island? I really, really want to know. I want to know if anything from, Camp Cretaceous actually ends up, by name as the Easter egg dropped in the new movie. I think I'm probably more excited about that than the plot to see how this is connected. But, it is what it is. What is it? The Indoraptor was probably the scariest dino for me in this franchise. Yeah, the Indoraptors are scary. I hate, you know what? I'm going to be real with you. The scariest dinosaurs for me are anything that spews acid. Anything. I don't want acid thrown in anybody's face. Just flipping horrifying. Horrifying. My favorite dinosaur is a Triceratops. I actually have a 4-foot tall stuffed Triceratops that my spouse gave me for Valentine's Day about 4 years ago. That literally can be made into a body pillow. It is amazing. I love it so much. But I've always loved Triceratops. If you watch Super Sentai or Power Rangers, if you are a ranger that has a Tricera power, you are my favorite. That's basically how that works. So, us seeing the little, hybrids and the Triceratops hybrids and things, like little baby versions, I just squeed. Love them so much. I think on principle, having a world where they brought dinosaurs back is amazing, except for the fact that the dinosaurs take up a lot of space. So, I don't know how Island Nublar is that realistic in terms of population control, but I would still love to visit it. But at the same time, I'm kind of a coward when it comes to thinking about going on safari. So then maybe not. I don't want to have a lion leap into my I know they have the bubbles, and I completely went out of my head what they're called, but I know they have those that they can travel with. But I mean, just the idea of that happening, it just freaks me out. So I don't know. I might be a little bit hypocritical. I would love to see a Triceratops up close, but I still would be scared to see a Triceratops up close. Just me. I think the Carnotaurus is my favorite. Those big chunky legs and tiny little baby arms. I got a big head and little arms. Yeah, they're cute. My least favorite is a T-Rex. I've never liked T-Rexes. I don't know what it is. It's not just because they're aggressive and meat eaters. I really think it's just the structure of their heads and their mouths are just too much for me. I mean, but to be honest with you, a T-Rex is the closest I think to a dragon. That's how I feel about that. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. Let's see. Kenji could have been the substitute Yaz physically. True. I mean, he's not as fast as Yaz, but he's definitely strong. I mean, he moved an entire boulder this season by himself. So that's, like I said, if we're going to have an MVP on who stepped up the most this season, it's Kenji. Kenji stepped up. I was so worried after season 3 because he was so angry at Darius. And now we know why. It's because he was in the Brooklyn and, love makes no sense. And, you put my bae in harm's way. I get it. Now it makes sense. But what I loved about Kenji is that he still has this brothership, whatever we're going to call this friendship that he has with Darius. He still has it enough for him to leap into shark-infested waters while a shark is coming to pull Darius out. And when he did, and Darius was like, "You saved me," and he's like, "I got your back forever." Like, it was like literally a non-brainer. Like, what is wrong with you? Of course I'm going to save you, dumbass. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love that, for me, Darius and Kenji are BFFs. That's how I feel. I think that is a very cool friendship. And I think that those were the two we didn't think were going to get along the most. And I feel like they are the closest. One other thing that I thought was really funny is Yaz trying to use her newfound voice. Because, Yaz doesn't like to be the person that has feelings to give people advice. She's the first to notice that Kenji is into Brooklyn and that maybe Brooklyn might be into him back. So she keeps trying to wingman him. But it made Ben feel like she was coming on to him. And he's like, "I really like you as a friend." And he's doing this whole thing. And she's like, "What?" But she didn't want to hurt his feelings, and she, like, that whole situation for me was really funny. I thought that was hilarious. Apparently it's possible that T-Rex could have had lips, and some research indicates that they would ambush predators. So instead of roaring, they communicate with these internal bellows. Well, that makes sense. There are simulations on YouTube, and it's pretty creepy. Like I said, I love watching. Triceratops is the dinosaur I know everything about. Like Brontosauruses are cool. I like Brontosauruses. I like. There's some that I like. I've never been a pterodactyl person. I don't like a bird that dive bombs. I don't want that in my life. Saber-Tooth tigers are cool. I haven't gotten into all of them. I think my daughter likes the ankylosaur. I haven't gotten to all of the, I guess, science behind this dinosaur is known for this. I'm not Darius, basically. So I love looking at them. I love watching movies about dinosaurs, especially anything Jurassic Park. But I'm not an expert when it comes to dinosaurs. And I don't feel like you have to be, even when you're a fan of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. You just have to enjoy the experience. So I watch anime superhero shows on stuff that I'm not an expert in all the time. And that doesn't take away from my enjoyment. So, but yeah, I love that there are people that are so dedicated and love dinosaurs to the point where they literally can tell you the egg shape that they come out of. And I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. We went to a dinosaur museum in Chicago. Well, it was an exhibit, a really huge exhibit in Chicago, and it was pretty cool. And now whenever I play, Animal Crossing on my Switch, I keep seeing like how the displays look, and it reminds me specifically of the displays that we saw. It was set up the exact same way, which is kind of creepy. But to be fair, I've only been to one in my life, and maybe they all look like that. So maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. We'll see. I personally thought Darius and Brooklyn would have been more ideal for a pairing. Yeah. Darius doesn't have time for that, though. Darius is too busy saving every dinosaur. He didn't have time for a relationship. I think we did that one. Like season 4 could revolve around keeping the Mosasaurus from migrating too close to civilization. Exactly. Like I said, the repetitiveness of what the kids are going through gets a little old. And I think that's probably why Yaz has PTSD. They are going through the same stuff over and over again. And she's always placed in a situation where she's the main one that's almost attacked by, the dinosaurs. It's usually her, getting away by the skin of her teeth by running really fast. So there's that. But yeah, I want to know how they resolve her PTSD. I will be very disappointed if it just, season 5 is just gone. Because that right there would probably bother me the most. I don't like situations where they do that. I think my fascination with Jurassic Park is my results in my love for Monster Hunter. My daughter loves Monster Hunter. She wasn't too keen on the movie, but she loves Monster Hunter. So yeah, I think that's probably what hers came from too, because she also loves dinosaurs and she's a big, big lover of dragons. Now, I don't want to say that's an Asian thing because she's half Asian, but I really feel like that's the part of her culture. Because her grandmother is from Beijing and her grandfather is from Vietnam. And she used to have all of these books when she was little about, basically origin stories, mythology about about dragons. And she 100% believes that dragons are a thing or were a thing or potentially could still be a thing in places that in China and other places that we don't see and know about. She loves Shang-Chi for that, reason. Had nothing to do with him, everything to do with dragons. So, it is what it is. I mean, dragons led to her liking dinosaurs. So proud mom. I'm a proud mom, but there are worse things you could be into, I guess. Let's see. I missed the hell out of Bumpy too. And the death of Compy at the beginning of this made me pretty sad as well. I don't like any animal suffering. It bothers me greatly. It really does. I don't like seeing, and that's what I'm worried about with Dominion when it comes out. I'm not LGBTQ plus, but I felt they are strongly attracted to each other. I mean, I don't know how anybody can't see it. It's just a thing. It's there. I can literally write specific examples of how it is. It's crazy. I actually thought it was strange Yaz tried to get Brooke and Kenji together. I thought that was kind of uncharacteristic, given how shy and internalized she is in season 1. Well, and remember, she in the scene where, basically, what did they name them? Rebel, the baby siblings. It was Rebel, and I forgot the other one's name. Oh, what was it? It's bothering me now. Do you remember the other one's name? The Tricera hybrid. There was Rebel, and then there was, well, anyway, when they were they realized that they were getting weak because they weren't in their natural habitat. So they took them to the biome that was the, pretty much the South Pole or the Antarctic. Basically, they needed to be in cold. And Yaz was basically telling them, let's go, and basically forcing Sammy and forcing Brooklyn to leave them. And in her mind, she was helping them out because she's like, I've been helping you with all this stuff. And they let her feel like she was helping. But Brooklyn was like, no, you just listen and then do what you said. Rebel and Angel, thank you. My baby's in here. Hi, River. So I feel like, honestly, that scene there is her wake-up call that she should not be telling them anything because it's not her strong suit. That's also where we got the line, because Sammy's like, I'm mad at you. We weren't ready. And, you're not listening to our feelings. You're just trying to force us to move. And she's like, I thought I was helping you. And she said, I'm sorry, and she said, Brooklyn. Now, first she's like, she literally told Sammy, you're the only reason you're basically the only reason I even have feelings to Sammy. And that she considered basically have Brooklyn to be her friend. So I do know that Yaz has definitely evolved emotionally since season 1, because again, if Sammy had not been there, it would have taken a lot longer for them to bond with Yaz, because Yaz was just like not having any of that. So that's a thing. That is a thing. Yaz is like, she's evolved emotionally, but now she's kind of into herself because of PTSD. So I don't know. She's just complex. But Kenji is the one that's really the MVP for me right on this season. He's just MVP, because that man, even when he doesn't know what's going on, he literally still jumps in head first, feet first, body first, without any like literally. What did he think was going to happen when he leaped onto the Saber-Tooth Tiger? He told Ben to run. Then what was going to happen? Like, he had no plan. He has no plan. He just leaps before he thinks. But in a way, if he hadn't done that, Ben would be dead. So I love Kenji in this. This was a great season for him. Jurassic World, I've never seen it, but how are your day, Christmas closing, and like people's wallets from buying presents? Damn, they're going to be broke. Yeah, they're going to be broke. I mean, to be fair, though, people are broke every year at Christmas. That's why, especially during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because everyone tries to buy all their presents. But we haven't even Christmas shopped, so we're a little bit behind. But that's what Amazon's for, so we'll be fine. I'm not going into any stores to do anything, not during COVID. Actually, to be fair, we don't even like doing it before COVID. So Amazon is key. Trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think that I did. Like I said, we talked about the baby dinosaurs and basically them trying to control their behavior and forcing them to fight in horrible, sick, sadistic animal fights. We talked about, Mantah Corp sending Cash to the island, basically to not only steal May's research, because he was having his Brad's and Brad X's go around taking pictures of all of her stuff, but also to this facility they're building up is supposed to be not for science research like they told May, but basically it sounded like it was supposed to be an arena, like a place to control, train dinosaurs to fight. So like we got that. It's disgusting. I hated everything about it. I also basically loved the fact though that we got the character of May, and I'm really hoping that May extends into the live action form. I just don't think they're going to do it. I would love for it. I would love for them to have a live action May. I think she would be very cool, but I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I think the next time we see May is going to be in season 5. And then who knows? I need more people. I want to have more people on this island. I'm really curious, though, I guess, how is Darius's brother going to find him? Because he still thinks he's on Island Nublar. So does that mean that they're going back to Nublar? Because that's what it seems like is going to happen. Because he wouldn't know that they crashed on a brand new island. So I want to know how that's going to play out. That's going to be interesting. Kenji's bravery does play into his recklessness exhibited since season 1, so it's pretty cool. They added that characterization. He was technically pretty fearless in general, much to Darius's dismay. He was, but he was also incredibly lazy, and he was a little bit. To be fair, I can't put him down though, because again, it's how he was raised. He was raised more by like the wait staff and servants than his dad. His dad was always gone. So it's sad. He had a really sad upbringing. And it's almost like his upbringing was himself. So if you really look at it from that perspective, this kid could have been a lot worse. But yeah, he's definitely come a long way. Mosasaurus is a problem. I definitely see that the Mosasaurus appear in Dominion if it hasn't appeared in a trailer already. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to talk about the Mosasaurus or any of the other, badass dinosaurs, because I feel like that's going to be more of a Dominion thing. It was not a real big focus in the season. It wasn't. I thought it was. If you look at the trailer, it looks like that's what everything's going to be about. Them outright like the Scorpius Rex. We're just got to get away from the Scorpius Rex. None of that happened this season. It was a human thing and a robot thing this season, which is so weird. The theme and the tone was different. So I didn't hate it, but it is what it is. Kenji was very brave. I wonder at what point was he partially inspired by wanting to impress his crush, Brooklyn? Oh, that's a very good question, actually. I honestly don't know if that, like, some stuff he was doing, like jumping on the Saber-Tooth Tiger and all that, was to impress her. And some of the really brave things he did was when he wasn't even in a group with her. But I do think that him lifting the boulder and stuff like that, probably 100% was to impress her. So yeah, you know how it is, River, trying to get those women. It'd be pretty worthwhile to go back and watch the previous seasons to see where it happened. He did say Brooklyn at one point with a bust in the elevator shaft, I think, in season 3. He did. River's watched all the seasons with me. We've watched as a married couple, we have agreed that if we are into shows, we basically watch them together. So I never watch anything that River does not watch with me. So yeah, River's seen it. But that is a refresher, but that is very true. When they were I think it was either in the facility they found or in the father's penthouse. That was the elevator scene. So that did happen. Or he might have saved Darius. I remember the elevator scene, but I think there was more than one person in it. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and see that because I don't know. You say a future video, maybe. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. 1,000,000,000% a future video. I literally, like I said, Jurassic World is such a I feel like we should watch Jurassic World movies today, babe. Like we're trying to figure out what we're watching later. We probably should go back and watch the Jurassic World movies. Get ourselves back in since we finished all of season 4 of Camp Cretaceous, because that is such a good, it's just a really good series. And I know River loves dinosaurs. We are a family that loves to watch movies where people are literally I crap you not, are running from their lives from like animals, even B-rated ones. I don't know why we're like this, but we are. They make us feel better about ourselves, and they're just funny as hell. So yeah, I think we might actually have to go in and have a dinosaur day. Let's see what we want to do about that. Usually I'll pull them up. There you go. There you go. Let's see. I remember he was trying to say that because it was valuable to his father, but he broke it to save his friends. Oh yeah. Yeah. The little boast thing. Yeah. And he threw it down. There was something else. I love that Kenji felt like they appreciated him more in season 3 because he was rich and he had all this stuff. And that they didn't really like him as a person. Kenji, like I said, Kenji's complex too. He's come a long way. But I mean, he's an abandoned child. He has abandonment issues. It's very obvious. I avoid Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Any monsters that can see you hiding under a blanket is overpowered and terrifying. I know, that's true. But I mean, having a dinosaur that can do that in general means they've upped their game in research. So there's that. You know, I love the fact that they have raptors, and I love the fact that they're not afraid to experiment with, you know, even some of the OG dinosaurs that we remember from the first Jurassic Park movie. They have no, you know, they basically have no qualms about upgrade. It's like this, because this is years later. So you want to have dinosaurs that have been upgraded. You don't want to have the dinosaurs that do the same mundane stuff. So yeah, as scary as it is, it's actually really cool that there's a dinosaur that can see through stuff. That's just cool to me. Yeah, it's terrifying, but I mean, to be fair, the entire universe is terrifying. Being around, like, what person in their right mind is like, I'm going to go to an island full of free roaming dinosaurs? I mean, as cool as that is in theory, it's not when you're physically there. It's like literally going to an outdoor nature reserve and saying, I get to walk around all the lions and tigers and bears. Yeah, sure you do. Like, so yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's very, very interesting. Let's see here. Okay, so here we go. Just making sure. Yeah, I think that is literally all the notes I had. That's all the notes that I had for season 4. Other than, again, I really liked it. I just wish that there were moments that the kids were kind of like, I can get this phone. I'm not going to cast into May's living quarters without getting the phone first. I'm not going to leave the tablet in there with him. I mean, it's like, come on. It's like last season. I said this in my season 3 review where I was talking about it. What irked me the most was that Brooklyn was trying to get information on the Scorpius Rex and all this other stuff. And I'm like, it was already right there. You found a laptop and you're like, a laptop. Let's leave it there. And then later on the season, you got to break in and try and get the laptop. And I'm like, why don't you just foresee things? Like, this could be important. Plus, maybe it has signal and we can use to go home. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But that is the show in a nutshell. And I mean, obviously, if they did find things and were able to accomplish things, you know, and use critical thinking a little faster, we wouldn't have the rest of the seasons because they'd already be at home. So I get it. You got to stretch it out. It's just what it is. But yeah, it's a thing. I love this. You should be able to escape any monster with a blanket. Don't let that fool you. That's what your parents told you when you were a child. That doesn't work. Like, what happens when they go under the blanket? Just saying. But yeah, hopefully, you just said it. Hopefully we'll get Yaz and Sammy together next season. They need to do something. If they're not going to have them together, they need to please stop. And I mean, please stop. In the name of every God that you believe in, stop putting moments in that are very super queer baiting, because it is fairly obvious that it's happening. Yes, you should be able to hide from anything under a blanket. Nope. Like, not in the real world. All right, we are almost to an hour. So I think, River, we're going to watch some Jurassic Park movies. We're going to eat some more kimchi because we made kimchi. And we're going to have a great rest of our Sunday. I am working on more videos. I have another collaboration coming up with Victoria Rain. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be very, very cool. Again, I am so sorry that I am slow with posting videos. I've been auditioning for a lot of voiceover projects, so it's been taking up a lot of time. Plus, life is happening. So, you know, unfortunately, it's been a thing. But I promise you'll be getting more videos. You will. I also need to start putting up some of the spotlights. So they are coming. The comic book spotlights are coming. They are not going away. And we also will be bringing back some trash comics. And then, of course, Wednesday is my birthday. So if I am able to, which I may not be able to because I'm supposed to be doing a voiceover workshop. So I got to see the timing on this. But if I don't do it Wednesday, then Thursday, we should have our Hawkeye review. And that'll be interesting because I think most of the juice of that show is going to happen in the 4th episode. So be on the lookout for that. All right, guys. If it is day for you, have a good day. If it is evening for you, have a very good evening. And we'll see you in the next stream and in the next video. Bye, guys.